of minutes and talk about the why. You know, everybody's been telling us for years, this election is the most important. That's what they said about last election, that's what they said about election before that one, that's what they said about election before that one. Every single election is like, this is important, your vote is so critical. If you don't vote, it's going to change your life. And frankly, that's what it was. The last election was the most important. The one before that was the most important, and every single one of them has changed our lives. But this one, I'm going to explain why. In 5 minutes, I'm going to break this down and show you exactly why and exactly how your single vote can make all the difference in the world. And I'm talking about the difference between us standing here and living in Jim Crow land. Can make all the difference in the world. I'm going to tell you how just one seat can change everybody's life in here. Now, we've all known since the 1950s that if people of color just all came together in mass and voted with power, we've all known, what did we used to say all the time? We could run every election in the country. We know that. If we just came together, we could elect every single official, from city councils to state to the presidency. We knew that since the 1950s. But here I'm telling you this, if we don't control this election in November, we're going to get a chance to do it again because it will be just like it's 1950. Okay, I'm sure exactly why and how that happened. Now, we all know about the President of the United States. That's when we come out in droves to vote. I mean, what can be more important than voting for the President of the United States, right? Well, it's not as important, because really, what's as important, or if not more important, are these midterm elections. It's the elections right in the middle between the presidential elections. And you know what? That's when the Republicans bet we won't come out and vote. And it's those elections that make all the difference. Like this one coming up in November, it makes a difference. Because these midterm elections are the ones that determine the balance of power in the United States. Not the presidency. The balance of power comes from these elections right here. Let me ask y'all, do we have the power right now?
No.
We all know that. Some of us might not know how, but we know we ain't got no power right now. and there's no real balance in that power right now. Okay? So what's happened here? Well, here's the thing. The president. Now that we all vote for, we know that. We have the White House. That's great. But there are three branches of our government. We have the White House, we have the executive branch. Fantastic. But what about the judicial branch, the Supreme Court and other courts? What about the legislative branch, which is Congress, which is made up of the Senate and House of Representatives? Let's just take a quick look there. Okay? With the Supreme Court, first of all, who runs the Supreme Court now?
Republicans and conservatives.
They have taken over the courtroom. Republicans right now have a major majority in the Supreme Court in that nonpartisan seat. So they have a major majority, a 6-3 majority, which is unbelievable. And they also control most of the state and federal courts in the United States. You see, we've been playing checkers. These guys are playing chess. Okay, so they've got set up. And what's the first thing they did when they took over the Supreme Court?
They changed one of the laws.
The first thing they did once they got that kind of power,
They changed one of the laws.
50 years of precedent, 50 years of women's rights in an instant. Know what everybody said before that? No, that can't happen. Gone in a second. Okay, and with that little bit of trickery, I guess you'd say, that they use to kind of justify it, they're going to also use it to justify getting rid of all LGBT rights. Gone. Voting rights. Gone. You know what? You remember the time, or heard about the time, where you used to have to count jelly beans or something like that, just to vote. We're not far away from that today.
That's what.
How many jelly beans in that job?
How many jelly beans in that jar? We're not far away from them creating some type of a test that you gotta take to vote. This isn't science fiction. In fact, these things could happen before November.
Yes.
Yes.
And what can the President of the United States do? Nothing. Nothing. So we're voting for President of the United States, and look what's happening. Gay marriage rights? Gone. Gone. They just wiped this stuff off, just like that. Loving versus Virginia, they overturned Roe versus Wade. Another serious case they overturned is Loving versus Virginia, and that was, guess what? Interracial marriage. Think about this, people. Please think. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? You can't get married, to a person of another race. Can you imagine that being illegal in the United States? It can be.
It was.
It was. It was. It was. A guy named Loving and his wife got married. Some of y'all might have seen that movie. Got married and went to jail.
Yes.
They'll do that again.
Trying to get back there too.
They're trying to get back there. And guess what? Civil rights?
We don't have it.
Gone. Gone. And guess what? We can't complain about it because they're going to take away the right to protest. If that's not playing chess, I don't know what it is. That's checkmate. Now that they got us boxed in, we can't say anything about it.
Taking up the roads.
Okay? So this is the problem here. Look, now let's take a look at the legislative branch. Okay. And this gets uglier than that. Okay, we got the House of Representatives. And we got the Senate. Now, in the House, we have a slight majority. But even there, now for laws and things, we need to pass both of these. Both need to vote need to agree to pass it. And there's all kinds of ridiculous complications in there, but basically that's the bottom line. In the House, all it takes, our majority is so slim, all it really takes is one or two of us not to cooperate with the rest of us, Joe mentioned. Christian cinema. All it takes is one or two of us not to cooperate with the rest, and we're done. We're done. In the Senate, they've got control. Basically, we just give up on things that go to the Senate. We can do nothing. Now, I want you to think about this. Let's think about if just one of these guys, just one of those seats, Sherry Beasley is going up against Pitt Bud for. Just one. That seat turns red, or another seat stays red. Just that one seat. Can you see the difference that makes? Now look at the power they have. Okay, what about in the House? Same thing. One seat. One seat. One seat. Don Davis, Sherry Beasley, one seat that they lose by a handful of votes. Change everything. That's how important it is. Now, what they're saying, what they believe happens, because again, most of us don't come out in the midterm elections, what they're betting will happen is that we're going to lose one or two seats. What they're saying is they're going to take that much. They're going to take half of that much. Can you imagine what happens after that? Listen,
Everything would change.
everything changes. Okay, if the Republicans gain control of the House and the Senate, the ugly truth is Social Security.
Gone.
Now listen, I can't even, I actually cannot imagine the world without Social Security. I can't. people rely just on Social Security? It's everything. Everything. You got people who are in nursing homes or wherever, everything comes out of the Social Security check. Can you imagine that check one day gone? It's hard to imagine. And even in all of us, even younger people, that Social Security is a big part of your retirement plan. Gone. And know what people are saying about that? Same thing they said about Roe versus Wade. Oh, that won't happen. They can't do that. Why? You what? And they've been trying to do that for 55 years. They've been trying to get rid of Social Security. And you give them a supermajority in the House, they'll do it this time. Medicare. Go. No Social Security, no Medicare. I know it sounds unbelievable. And you think, why would people be that cruel? They know that people would literally die if that happens. Millions. Why would they be that cruel? Power. They have the power. Gun control? Look, 90% of citizens in the United States want some type of regional gun control. So I said, well, if that's true, then how come all these people who are supposed to be working for us won't vote for it? Money, they get paid by the NRA, who puts millions of dollars into their campaigns to keep them in power. That's why. Most people, 70% of people, would like us to get machine guns off the streets. Come on, how sensible is it that you can go to a store, buy an assault weapon, go down the street into an elementary school and kill a bunch of kids? Come on. Everybody knows it doesn't make any sense. Give them control, and it'll be all over the place. They will keep it. Put the Democrats in office where we're supposed to be. We'll keep Social Security, and we'll actually lower the cost of Medicare, and we'll ban assault weapons.
That's the way it needs to be.
It's a balance of power. We've got to get the power back. We got to get the power back. That's what it's all about. It's about the power. We must take the power back, and we can take the power back. And it starts by right here. It starts with us, and it starts with African American people. And with that, we're going to have Ms. Trudy Robinson tell you a little bit more about why that is. Thank you very much.